Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this Facebook Live. There's never a loss of topics to talk about in the state of Illinois. I did want to come to you in about that rogue judge, that actually corrupt judge, Patricia Martin. She got, obviously convicted of felony theft and then was only given 4 years probation. She's the lady who stole upwards of $250,000 from a retired veteran, a Tuskegee Airman who was in his 90s, that she happened to get power of attorney over his accounts. She raided his bank accounts and then used that money to buy crypto for herself and other personal expenses. I want to come into you about that topic. I want to talk about the judges that released over 1,700 criminal illegals to our streets because they are under mandate with both the Sanctuary State Act and, of course, the Pritzker Safety Act. But you know what? I want to get to those into some detail. But instead, what I want to do right now is alert everybody to the fact that it is December. And as we speak right now, it is more than likely that your local governments are going to raise your property taxes because it's levy time in the state of Illinois. By the end of December, all those municipalities have to put into the state what their official levy is going to be so they can be calculated, and then they can own even more of your money and more of your house. And so that's why I wanted to come into you, because what's happening tonight in my own local school district is that District 200 is getting ready to raise your taxes over 8%. And you say to me, well, that can't be. We have a PTEL capped school district where they cannot raise your the levy more than 5% or CPI. But what's happening here is that when you actually take their extension based off of last year's extension, it comes up to over 8% by my calculations. And so I just wanted to show you, here's a little bit of how this all works. Here's a chart from them. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. I'm going to remove that one. Add this one to the stage instead. Here's how they happen to be calculating their extension. They have a whole presentation at the CUSD 200 website, and I'm sure this is not any different than anybody else's school district. They're going to be raising your taxes. As you can see, they had an operational levy last year of $174 million. The December 2024 CPI is 2.9%, which means that they can tax up to 2.9%. And, that is a limit to them. But they act like it's a maximum. Let's face it, they could levy 0% and figure out how to just get by. But instead, they always think that they have to tax to the maximum possible because they're afraid that if they don't, they'll lose revenue in the out years by not having extended the levy to the maximum this year. So they play this game every single year, making sure that they are always covered no matter what. So as you can see, they made this calculation and said, oh, well, we can levy for operational expenses $179 million. And then they have this other extension on here for new growth. This is $40 million they estimate new growth, and they're going to tax the maximum rate on that at 3.974%. So let's say you had a tear down in your neighborhood and a new construction came on and was fully completed. They are not limited to the 2.9%. They can levy the full tax rate on that new construction. So that's what they're doing there. And then on top of that, they have something called levy debt service. Levy debt service is outside of the PTEL cap. So anytime your school district has debt sitting out there, they can tax to whatever they want to. So if you do just simply do the math here, $174 million versus $194 million, you actually get an over 8% increase in the amount that they are going to levy this year for District 200. Now, the important thing about District 200 is I also got a little bit of information from our city that one of the TIF districts has excess funds in it. And so District 200 is also going to be getting an additional $2 million out of that TIF fund this year. But as you can see, there's no indication whatsoever that they decide to just say, well, we're getting extra money from the TIF of $2 million. How about we just not tax as much this year, the residents? No, that's not where they're going at all. They don't care. They just look at it as extra money for them. So when you're looking at their documents and they have like an extensive, levy discussion here, and you can again go to their website, CUSD200.org, and you can look at it. And in that presentation, they say part of the reason that they have this operational levy extension is for contracts and cost of living. Well, just so you know, what is that contract? What is the biggest expense they have? Obviously, it's personnel. So that's salaries and benefits. And this I also thought was interesting because I then immediately went to the teacher contract to find out what that says. And here's what they say. And you probably can't read this. It's a little bit small here, but the current teacher contract for District 200 says that teachers shall be paid by electronic bank deposit. Okay, great. And their year one base salary is X amount. Their year two increase is 6% yearly increase across the board. Their year three increase, which they're in this year, is another 6% increase across the board. And then the year after that, it's a hybrid, but it has a floor of 3.5 to 4.5%. It's probably more than likely going to be higher than that. But they've had 6% increases across the board in year one, in year two, and in year three. That's what they've had the last 3 years. So you wonder why your taxes are going up on your home? It's because the salaries at your school district are going up as well. 6%. Did you get a 6% pay increase last year? And the year before that? And the year before that? Well, I just thought I wanted to just come in shortly and remind people again, as I have done in previous Facebook Lives and other posts, that it is levy time in December. And so you should be paying attention to what your local municipalities are doing. So this is townships and your cities and villages and your school districts and your community colleges. And they're all going to go ahead and claim more of your home for their benefit. So that's just a little short Facebook Live here on this particular topic. And we'll be back with more interesting information that every Illinoisan should know. And don't forget to watch my show this coming Sunday, 7 to 9 p.m. I've got a really good show. We're going to continue on this property tax discussion to talk about that. And we'll also hit the energy topic as well. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.